going on YouTube? Jelani from JelaniTheMarketer.com back again with another video, and I got a special guest with me today. Goes by the name of Greg Jeffries, and this guy is amazing, superstar affiliate, and I'm so happy to have him on the channel. What's up? What's going on, Greg?
How's it going, Jelani?
I am doing well, man. It's pretty warm where I am. How about you?
It's actually chilly today in Austin, Texas, but tomorrow, who knows? It may be 80 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you don't know who Greg Jeffries is, he's one of the dream card winners for the ClickFunnels affiliate program, and I asked him to come on the channel today so we can talk about how he got there, the strategies that he uses to, promote affiliate offers, and just how he runs his business. So Greg, can you just give a little introduction to my channel, who you are, and how you actually got started with all this?
Yeah, so I primarily focus on driving traffic through SEO, which means just ranking content, ranking content in the search engines, whether it be YouTube videos or websites. So that's how I drive the traffic to the offers that I promote. So just kind of how I got started, I guess, is just a lot of trial and error, a lot of failure, and sort of gravitated towards the world of SEO because when I got started, I didn't have a lot of money. And although SEO may be a little bit slower than paid traffic, it's a lot cheaper. There's a very low barrier to entry if you just kind of have a direction or know sort of what to do. That's the tricky part because there's so much misinformation out there. So it took me a couple of years to kind of sift through all the myths and BS information out there to find the stuff that or to find a little proprietary little formula that works for me. So basically, I just we can get into more what I do later, but basically just create content targeted towards certain keywords, and then because the content is so targeted, that's basically why it ranks. But you can also send backlinks to those pieces of content if you want to boost it a little further. But
so you're getting ahead of yourself. What's a backlink?
Yeah, sorry. So basically SEO, there's all these, do's and don'ts out there with SEO, but it's really simple. It's very logical. Obviously it had to be designed. There's some structure to it. So it pretty much just comes down to content and backlinks. So those are the two elements. So the first element is content, having relevant content. That's how Google and some of these other search engines find your content in order to rank it and organize it and kind of make sense of all that data.
Yeah.
And the other element of SEO is backlinks, which just means links from other sites or web properties to your piece of content. And the higher the authority of that backlink, then the more of those links that you have, basically, the higher over time, the higher that piece of content will rise in the search engines, whether it be YouTube search engine or Google or Bing, based on that particular keyword. And there's several different ways you can go about improving that rank. But backlinks is really something that I don't focus heavily on. I know how to use them and stuff, but I mainly focus on creating a high quality piece of content first, because if you start with that, then it's just gonna be better in the long run, period. Rather than trying to start and like spend all this time and money and effort trying to rank this crappy piece of content.
Right.
If you start with a good piece of content, that's gonna help you, in the long term, because SEO is kind of a long game anyway. So you just like this video, this interview we're doing, like it's going to be a good piece of content. You want to have just quality content that's engaging and giving value.
Right.
It's actually going to help people.
Right, because it's kind of compounding over time. It just kind of keeps going and increasing pretty much in value. So what made you want to do SEO rather than paid? Because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, paid is the way to go. Like, it's quick, it's easy. Whereas SEO is like kind of a realm that a lot of people don't want to kind of go into, because some may say that it's, I don't know, takes too long to get results. What do you think about that?
Well, you got to have money it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So at the time, I didn't have much money. I was none of my jobs that I've ever worked paid me enough to have even anything left over. So you got to have a budget from somewhere. Where are you going to get the money to run paid traffic? Sure, you can have credit cards, but I was basically using. So even though I had didn't have that much money, I had credit cards because I had good credit. So I was using that money to invest in courses to like learn this stuff.
Okay.
And then I implemented what I learned, which was like mostly SEO stuff. So, you could start with paid traffic, but I mean, there's two ways to go about it, or three, I guess, or whatever. So you either like try it on your own, and like hopefully it'll work out. I know that's worked for some people, but that's like the rare story of like the first campaign they hit a home run. Like that's very, very rare. It does happen, but it's probably not. The other way is to find a good course or a mentor, but again, you gotta have money. It's got to come from somewhere, and just pay them for the answers of what's working for them, copy their results, and then scale up. But so you're going to have the money for the course and or the mentor and the budget for the paid traffic. So the money's got to come from somewhere. So like the ideal situation would be, if you're trying to get away from like the 9 to 5, would be get a, try to lower your living expenses and try to find a job jobs that's going to at least cover your expenses, plus give you, a couple of $100, probably like $300 plus a month at least, as a budget that you can use towards paid traffic. And if you have that sort of scenario, then sure, you use it for that, and that will hopefully get you results quicker. And then as you start to get results, then the money isn't a problem. You can go, you get a loan or whatever. If you have a campaign that's working, it's just you just pour money on it, and it's going to compound pretty quickly. But the money's got to come from somewhere. So the cool thing about SEO is that you don't have to have a ton of money to actually get started.
Sweet. So before we talk about the strategies that you use, what did you want to do before SEO? Like, did you ever see yourself being like an internet marketer or something like that?
That's a good question. So I've always been entrepreneurial, but see, I didn't have a lot of entrepreneurial influences, so I didn't know what that meant or how to go about that path. So I have a design background and went to a really expensive art school for graphic design. Great, but and I'm talented, but I never really, there's always that myth of like the starving artist. I don't really buy into that because there's a lot of very successful artists out there. But I just didn't. As I was going through college and afterwards, I was like, man, I really don't want to. I love being creative, but I didn't want to do it as a job because it kind of takes the fun out of it for me. Like having to be creative on command, like under deadlines. Like I work better when I am not under the pressure to be creative. So I didn't really ever see myself becoming an entrepreneur because I didn't know that was a possibility. I was always taught, high school, college, and then go get a job, and I didn't know what that job was going to be. I just knew that was the path I was supposedly supposed to take, and I gravitated towards internet marketing specifically because I sucked at a job. I'm a hard worker, but I just never. It never translated into enough money. So like I've never made more than I've never even made like $30,000 before taxes. It was like low 20s thousands as a job. And so I know I was more talented than that. So like I'm making far more than that for myself now. But I don't know. I couldn't crack the code of like climbing the corporate ladder. I don't know.
I totally know what you mean.
I suck at resumes, which that's your foot in the door. So if you can't even get the interview, like if I can get the interview, I'll get hired. But I guess that comes down to like copywriting and selling yourself and stuff. So I've had all these credentials, but for whatever reason, just couldn't get my foot in the door. And then once I was at the job, I think everybody does this to some extent. Like you learn your job, and then once you learn it, you figure out the laziest way that you can do it.
Absolutely.
And so, like, what takes you 8 hours in the beginning because you're learning it, eventually it whittled down my job tasks into like I can probably I'm stretching out an 8-hour day, but it only takes me like an hour and a half to 2 hours to do the actual work at my job,
Right.
which eventually it gets to the point where it's so mind numbing. You just want I just had to leave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm the same way. I'm the same exact way. And I think like a lot of entrepreneurs kind of share that, where they can't be tied down and they kind of just want to live their life in a creative sense the way they want to. And once you start putting those time constraints and all that other extra stuff, it kind of gets really, really daunting. So I absolutely know what you mean. So when you figured out like, okay, this is kind of working for me, like how did you figure out the strategy to scale something, or to even actually, let's make this simple. When you're starting out a new affiliate offer, what do you do to take it to the next level? So for ClickFunnels, for example, how did you find ClickFunnels, and then how did you figure out like, okay, I could promote this and then implement the strategy that you created to scale it to the point where you have?
yeah, so it's a little less like scientific or whatever. I need to probably kind of optimize this process. But when I first started promoting ClickFunnels, like I've been promoting it from the beginning, like it's been around for like 3 years or something.
Yeah,
so
3 years.
I was waiting. I saw it launching, and then it launched. And like you never know if it was going to evolve into what it is now. There's so many different products and services and product launches out there and softwares. You never know what's going to like stick around and what's going to be like gone next year.
Right.
It looked cool, and so I put some videos up. I initially started with videos because I wasn't that I knew a lot about websites. I just I don't know. I just started with videos at the time. I had websites, but I was promoting it primarily with videos. And I noticed after a couple of months, like it's very simple, very logical, but like it took me a long time to kind of pay attention, basically, because I was just like going all over the place, like promoting all these different offers. And then the biggest, and this is a tip that everybody should be doing, but it took me way too long to start doing this, but start tracking your income. Start tracking your money, because like a lot of times that'll give you some insights into like what's working. So that's how I discovered that ClickFunnels was worth focusing more attention on, because probably like several months into it, or maybe even a year into it, I was like, wow, like I guess just from these videos, like I'm making a couple of $100. Like it started out smaller, but then it got up to like $300 a month,
Right.
and it was consistent. And I was like, man, I should probably like, I was wondering why I was still broke, and I was like, oh, I should probably focus a little more attention on promoting this because it's working, and if I can make 300, like before I ever read Grant Cardone's 10x, I was like, I wonder if I could like 10x this, because like if I'm making 300 and that wasn't very hard, I didn't put much effort, like maybe by this time next year I can like 10x it. And I did, like and all I did to do that was create a bunch more videos for long tail keywords, which all that is longer search phrases related to that product or service. So the hurdle was trying to figure out what those long tail phrases were. But there's tools out there, free tools that you can get those. So basically, I just made a bunch of videos for ClickFunnels, and upload those to a channel, and just kind of sat back, and over time it kind of compounded. So that's what I did. And I did the same thing with websites to scale up. So it took the same keywords and you create content around that. And now you've got two assets. You got a video channel and a website. And so, so the overall strategy is basically comes down to like long tail keywords. So the advantage of long tail keywords is they're easier to rank, and they have very little competition, because hardly anybody else, even though I've said this on other webinar or interviews and stuff, most people they're not going to take any action, period.
Yeah. And
the people that do, there are like the other SEOs out there, or other affiliate marketers, even though they hear what I say, they're too like lazy or busy or whatever to actually do it. And so like your competition is extremely small, And so the first goal is to try to siphon that traffic in, multiple mediums like YouTube and websites. Now, once you're on page 1 of YouTube or Google or Bing or whatever, then you kind of want to saturate and dominate all the positions.
Right.
So once you're ranked once, you want to ideally saturate the whole page.
Right.
That way, no matter which video or link they click, they're all going to you. It doesn't matter. And so how you do that is you just create multiple channels or multiple websites. You can even literally duplicate the site just to have another property, because Google's not generally, in my experience, it's not going to rank this like multiple pages for the same website for that same term. So you have to have different properties.
I see.
So so to break it down, basically I kind of just test an offer. Like ClickFunnels was just one of the many offers I was promoting at the time, and then once I got some results, I'm like, cool, and this is an evergreen, long-term sustainable product.
Right.
Then I kind of do this shotgun / rifle approach. So I'm very focused on that, and then just being disciplined and consistent, creating, because like at the time I still had a job. So I remember this one time where I created a big batch of ClickFunnels videos. It was just for a month. I was like, when I come home from work, I'm going to create like 5 videos a day for 30 days. So at the end of the time, I had like 150 to 200 videos, which is a lot. Right. But I broke it down in little bite-sized pieces, because I only had a couple of hours at the end of every day. And if you had I don't know if you're like moonlighting on the side or whatever, but like if you have a full-time job or multiple jobs, when you come home, you're kind of tired.
Right.
So even though you might have several hours, you only have like a couple of solid hours of energy.
Right.
So I knew that I just tried to work with what I had, and by the end of that time, I had several hundred videos, and that resulted over time that kind of compounded my commissions. So to scale this to multiple products and stuff, you just do that same process for those.
So back to when you made the videos, did you find the keywords first? Like the long tail keywords first, and then you're like, okay, I want to make a video on this long tail keyword. So like,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I basically had the list, and like every night I would pick 5, and then the next night I'd pick 5, and just crank them out.
Sick. Okay, that seems like a really great strategy. I was listening to your podcast on Funnel Hacker Radio, and one thing you mentioned was how you siphon traffic from, like, for example, lead pages. Can you explain, like, what do you mean by that, and like how would you kind of take traffic that's from lead pages but then kind of put it into ClickFunnels or a different offer, whatever you're promoting, but how did you, do that?
Yeah, because, so one, here's the thing with promoting ClickFunnels, like when it first came out, there aren't that many keywords to target because it's brand new. There's no search data there. So it actually benefited me for waiting several months to promote it, because it gave Google and other search engines the time to gather that data, and I just come in, push a button on one of these like free long tail generators, and now I've got a list of long tail keywords, and that I can start targeting. So the low hanging fruit is the ClickFunnels keywords in this example, but once you target all those, where do you go from there? Right. Because once you're making money, I can guarantee you're going to want to make more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how do you scale? And so you got to kind of put yourself in the shoes of these other companies and stuff. So like if you were ClickFunnels, what would you do?
Yeah.
I would target all my competitors, because if you're a company like ClickFunnels, I mean, the only people that have heard of ClickFunnels are people that are maybe kind of in an internet marketing space, or I don't know, they heard it from a friend. But if you're trying to promote ClickFunnels, you just got to piggyback off these other brands and products that are already out there, like Lead Pages. Lead Pages was around for several years before ClickFunnels. So, you just there, and so they've got lots of keywords to target. So I'm not, hating on Lead Pages or some of their competitors, but you just want to capture some of that traffic that's already there and present this new offer to them. So that's how I scale. So I start with like ClickFunnels, the main product, and then I start to branch out to their direct competitors like Infusionsoft, membership site softwares, autoresponders, all the things that ClickFunnels does. That's how I'm getting these solutions.
Right.
And we're starting with like the branded names like ConvertKit, Infusionsoft, Instapage. And I know those just from being in internet marketing for a long time, so those come easy. I know the landscape. And then and that's going to take you forever to target, right, unless you're doing like PPC or something, which is fine. A lot of these products and services, they don't allow you, like ClickFunnels, I think it's cool with you bidding on their keywords, but most of these brands and affiliate programs, they don't like you bidding on their own keywords because they like to bid on those themselves.
Right.
So in this scenario, you would bid on the lead pages terms because it's not against the ClickFunnels terms to bid on lead pages terms.
Right. Yeah.
So again, that traffic's already there, and you would just redirect them there. And then the other layer is once you get done doing all that for all those other competitors, then you can branch into the more generic keywords. They're like sales page builders, sales funnel tools, sales funnel software, drag and drop, whatever, landing page tool, squeeze page tool, autoresponder, because that's a lot more generic than ClickFunnels, than ConvertKit and Aweber and GetResponse and stuff. So then you get super generic. That's going to take you a long time. So this is a long-term strategy, but eventually you're going to have so much traffic coming in, and this is like if you focus on even like just this one product and doing that strategy I just mentioned, like you're gonna eventually have so much money coming in as an affiliate, and like your true competition of other affiliates that are actually going to put in the effort to compete with you is ridiculously small because nobody has that much time.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
So if you can find a way to capture that traffic and scale up more quickly, or maybe have a team or outsource some of this stuff, you can get that quicker. But the reality is it's just going to take a while. So most people don't like hard work. So it's just it's just a matter of implementing this process and trying to figure out how to do it as quickly as possible. So the quicker that you can do it, the faster your results are going to be.
Right.
So
and you got to be consistent. You said outsourcing, so I wanted to bring that up actually. So when you made all those videos, did you outsource like the work for the blogging, or did you actually do the blogging yourself? Because I know if you have a lot of like 150 videos, that could take a while to make all those blog posts.
Yeah, I did. At first, it was just videos, and I did it all myself. And for a tool like ClickFunnels, I recommend doing it yourself. At least I do it because I'm the expert.
Yeah.
Like if it was a product that I wasn't an expert in, or I didn't really care about so much, like a diet and weight loss product, like I care about diet and weight loss, but like I'm not an expert in that niche. So I just want it to come. I just want to convey and for it to come across like in the videos and stuff that like I actually care and that I know what I'm talking about, because I think unless you're like an extreme newbie, and I think even beginners can pick up and recognize the difference between like somebody who doesn't know their shit from somebody that's like more experienced in like, is giving actual value and isn't like super needy and doesn't necessarily need that commission
right.
for ClickFunnels. So I try to just give value and stuff. And since I have a lot of experience to pull from, while I'm addressing like these certain long tail keywords in the videos, I can kind of connect that to some other related product or whatever, just to kind of add value that an outsourcer, even if they are, proficient in internet marketing, couldn't do. So
right.
I just want to, these are long-term assets. So I know it takes time, and we've all unfortunately only got 24 hours in a day, so there's a limited amount you can do. And there's only one of me,
right,
so I recommend that just because it's a long-term strategy though. So
that makes sense. I mean, you're not going to do 150 blog posts in a day, so take your time, be consistent, So you got this figured out. You figured out the strategy. When was the point where you're like, okay, I can, quit my job. I can actually do this full time. And like, how did that feel when you realized that?
Well, the time I quit my job about a little over a year ago, and it was the second time I did that. So I had an experience. The first time it didn't really go as planned. So the second time, I was more serious. So the first time it was circle 2012, I think, and if everything would have gone to the way I had planned out, it would have worked out. But I didn't stick to my plan.
Yeah, of course.
So the first time I quit my job was in 2012, and I didn't have enough. I wasn't making enough money, so I didn't have enough money. So I got a big loan, and the purpose of the loan was to cover my living expenses for a couple of months until I could build up or increase my passive income to at least make the payments on the loan, so that by the time I ran out of money, I would still be okay.
Right.
And it would have worked, but I was an idiot and didn't do what I said I was going to do.
Right.
Which at the time it was making courses on like Udemy and Skillshare and stuff. Because I'll say this, so I had already gotten some traction. So I was like, oh, this is working. All I got to do is do more of it. Really easy. I would have been, free like 5 years ago if I would have stuck to that plan.
Yeah.
But I was an idiot, and I blew it all on high ticket coaching, and those turned out to like suck and just kind of be scams.
Right.
And so now I was out the money. So now I was in debt, and I didn't have money, and so I had to go get a job. So the second time I quit, I still didn't have enough to quit. I didn't have enough passive income coming to cover all my expenses, but I was so miserable at my job, and it didn't pay that much, so I had to make up that difference. But I knew what I needed to do, and so I actually did it.
Right. Yeah.
And I was pretty close to covering all my expenses. Like I had some months where I could pretty much cover most of my expenses. The big expense, though, was all this credit card debt that I'd racked up from purchasing all these products and services over the years. But like my living expenses actually weren't that much. But so that it worked out. The short story. So I was it 2016 December. And that was like I pushed it out. I stayed at that job longer than I needed to, really, because I was miserable like in the spring or the summer. But even though it wasn't paying that much, I literally wasn't doing anything. So I kept telling myself, I was like, man, like this is the easiest job. I literally wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I would come in and sit in my desk, and like some days I would do stuff, but sometimes there would be entire weeks where I wouldn't do anything, and I was like, man, I don't think I'm never going to have a job where I literally don't do anything. And so I just kind of, stretched it out.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anybody to report to, and nobody reported to me. So I was kind of like on a little island by myself. And, again, it wasn't much money, but it eventually got to the point where it was so miserable. And since I was making such little money, I was like, you know what? Even though I'm not quite where I need to be, I know I'm smarter than this, and I'm losing money by sitting in this chair 8 hours a day, because even though I'm not super duper smart, like I could, I don't know, flip items on Craigslist for more than I'm making in a day or something like that. So I was like, I'll find a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was making money as, had multiple streams as an affiliate then, but so I just scaled up what I was doing. In that case, I think it was ClickFunnels and some other stuff. And so I just scaled them up. It worked. Boom. In like a couple of months, I was finally making like 5 figures a month, and it worked out.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
That was a really long story, but that's how it happened.
I think it's important to highlight that story because there's so many people out there who are probably in the same position and who want to get free, but you gotta buckle down. I think that's what you did. You just said I had to do it.
Yeah, and everybody everybody's got a different situation. So to put it into context, like I'm single, I don't have a family, I don't have any kids,
right.
So I could afford to do that. But going back, the ideal situation would be like, and especially if you have a family, is to be making enough at your job to at least cover your expenses, and ideally have some money for a budget to pour into tools and resources. Because even if you're doing SEO, you're going to need domains, a website, which are extremely cheap, but those are really all you need to get started, or maybe a video recording tool, a mic, a laptop, internet, as basic expenses. But once your income outweighs your expenses, then you can jump ship. But I kind of jumped a little early because I was just, it felt like the right time, and luckily it worked out for me. But again, it also wasn't the first time. So if it was the first time, here's the thing why I think it worked out better the second time. So the first time, the reason it didn't work out was obviously because I wasn't disciplined. I had never worked for myself. I had all these great ideas of like, I wish I had more time, at my previous job. And then once you have it, if you're not used to it, you blow it.
Right.
And so I would get up at like 10 o'clock and like bum around on my computer and like play on Facebook and stupid stuff. And like, I basically wasn't doing what I needed to do. I wasn't working. And then just kind of like lounge all day in my PJs and stuff. And like, by the end of the day, it's, 10 o'clock and I haven't done anything. And I did that weeks. And I was like, man, this is precious time and I'm wasting it. And the second time around, I was a little more disciplined and had created some structure for my day before I cut everything off of my job, because I was like, man, this time I've got to make it work, because it's I do not want to go back to a job.
It's absolutely.
I've got a friend that I'm teaching all this stuff to now, and he's a childhood friend, and it's taking some time to kind of reframe his mind, because it's a different way of thinking, working for yourself from working for someone else. But I think, and it's tough in the beginning, I think, or at least for me it was. But I think once you get comfortable, once you're making enough to support yourself and you are free, it's very, very hard to go back to the 9-to-5, because it's kind of like taking a wild animal and you're trying to put it in a cage now. It's like, but you've already seen the other side, and there's something better out there, and you've experienced it. Now you're back in a cubicle or something. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, that's amazing. That's an amazing story, and I think it resonates with a lot of people, especially me. So you quit your job. Now the next step is you have 100 affiliates underneath you with ClickFunnels. What happened next? What is that process like? Like, tell the people, because I don't even know. Like, what happens when they're like, all right, well, you have 100 affiliates underneath you. Now you get a car. Like,
it's a lot of leverage, basically, because and that's one tip too. And you don't have to win a car to leverage that or whatever. Like, leverage every one of your successes. So once you make $100, man, create a product or something. Let everybody know that you just made $100, and like, you can teach people how to get to that level. Once you get and that will probably get you to 1,000. And then once you get to 1,000, repeat that same process, and that'll probably get you to 10,000. And then just keep leveling up with that process, because obviously it starts with some effort and some hard work. Like, you got to get those first results. You can't just like lie and BS. Or you can, but I would
don't do that.
Get real results, because like whether they're huge or small or whatever, because you got to remember, like, most people on the planet have never even made $1 on the internet. So if you've made $100, you're doing way better than most people on the planet.
Right.
And they a certain demographic or certain portion of people are going to look up to you and be like, oh man, can you like, how are you doing that? Can you teach me that? And you can sell them a product or something. So like in the case of like winning a car, being a dream car winner, this is just further proof that your competition is ridiculously small. Like, it blows my mind that there are more 2 Comma Club winners than dream car contest winners. How does that happen?
Right.
Like, if you're a 2 Kilometer Club winner, surely you've got money, and hopefully you're a good marketer. So shouldn't you also be a dream car winner? You know, so you know, a lot of people think of like, since because I'm a dream car winner and because there's whatever 50 other people, that it's, you know, ClickFunnels affiliate program is saturated or whatever. I'm like, no, man. Like,
yeah, absolutely not.
Literally, I mean, there's people that that have gone through my training and have become dream car winners. So like, there's not that many people that I mean, of all the population of people on the planet, there's so few people that even know what the heck ClickFunnels is.
Right.
Like, there's so much room for growth. And there's so many different angles to promote it. It's insane. So like, you know, you've got business owners, you've got, you know, college students, you've got work from home moms, you've got affiliate marketers, you've got people that are interested in e-com. Like, there's so many different angles of how you can use and promote ClickFunnels. So, and there's it's a very versatile product to promote.
Yeah, I agree with you. So you said you have a training. What is that training?
It's called SEO Affiliate Domination, so people can just check that out. But that's where I teach my core process. So I teach how to rank like websites as well as YouTube videos in there. But it's my long tail strategy. And so how it's broken down is I teach them like the framework first, and then I teach them a variety of different scaling strategies. So just various different ways to kind of approach it, because I don't want you to just give you the strategy and be like, good luck, you know, figure it out. Because everybody is different, you know. Like, just some examples are, you know, there's product launches. You know, ClickFunnels is a product, but there's, you know, JVZoo, ClickBank product launches every month. So that's one angle. That's one way to use this. Then you've got e-com products. You said you're in e-com. Well, there's tons of different e-com products. So you can use this to rank or to rank more terms for your e-com store. So I know with Shopify and stuff, all these e-com trainings, they pitch like, you know, combine Facebook with Shopify. But, you know, don't you think if you had more organic traffic, you would also make more sales?
Yep.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So you can do that with Shopify. You can do that if you're doing Amazon FBA. There are, we speak English. I'm unfortunately just unilingual right now, but there's other languages on the planet. So, and even if you don't speak those languages, there are free translation tools out there. So if you have an article in English, you can convert to French and promote like a French diet weight loss product or something. So there's all these different angles to scale, and I just try to present those to people inside the course, because I don't know which one's going to like resonate with you. I just want to expose you to all these different options, because just picking one of them is enough to make you ridiculously, successful. Like just focusing on, even just ClickFunnels, like not to just keep promoting ClickFunnels or whatever, but like it's a good product to promote. At least it's a very lucrative affiliate program. But there's so many random affiliate programs out there that they're super niche. That if you think ClickFunnels is pretty popular in our space, but there's just so many different other products out there, and the more niche it is, it's like way less competition. Like once you get outside the internet marketing niche, like when you're talking about pay attention to like commercials and what's on the news, because things like standing desk or those hoverboards and things, those are just examples. Like fidget spinners, like someone's going to make millions of dollars with the fidget spinners, or they already have, that's a trend. But some other angles are seasonal products. So it's February, so Valentine's was this month. But next month, guess what? It's St. Patrick's Day. There's going to be all these St. Patrick's Day celebrations. Yep. Then there's Easter, and then there's 4th of July, and then there's Thanksgiving. So if you seasonal things are kind of like product launches. So there's going to be a big spike, but if you focus on all of the major ones, then there's going to be a consistent spike of sales throughout the year. So like if you want to go the seasonal route of just holidays and stuff, you can focus on like Valentine's Day, you know, whatever.
Best chocolates or stuff.
Yeah, Sherry's Berries, I'm sure, has an affiliate program or something. Like, and so you could be like one of the only affiliates that's like crushing it on Sherry's Berries in February, but then in March maybe you're promoting like some St. Patrick's Day stuff on Amazon or something. I don't know. Like there's so many different angles, and then you've got sports stuff. So there's tons of sports, and then within the category of sports, you got multiple teams. Yeah. So like, I mean, baseball, football, soccer, football, hockey, and then you've got all the teams. So like, there's so many, and then to expand even further, all the teams have long tail keywords, tons of them. So
it's limitless.
I call it infinitely scalable, because it's just it'll never run out. And then I'm throwing out all these ideas, but like, and so another one is every year there's new bands, there's new TV shows, there's new movies.
Right.
So on top of all these layers of like sustainable evergreen keywords, like the diet and weight loss stuff, the seasonal stuff that's going to come around every single year, then you've got all the spikes stuff, like the basically every movie is a product launch. You know, they have a trailer and then the product, you know, the release date.
Right. So
you can piggyback off all those traffic spikes, and I don't know, sell like there's a movie service called Movie Pass that's like free. Well, not free. It's like kind of like Netflix, but you can see as many movies as you want each month. New movies at theaters and stuff. So like they have an affiliate program. It's called a Movie Pass. So
that's crazy. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. Because movies, there's always new movies, and they actually have like a calendar of new when they release, so you can kind of prepare.
Exactly. And you can predict this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and here's another little angle, kind of diving deep in there. So like, if you just like use a little common sense. So some of these, if this new movie has a new actor and they're pretty attractive, you can pretty much bet that there's going to be a lot of searches for that actor. Like, I'll give you a little example. So a couple of years ago when Wolf of Wall Street came out, Margot Robbie was in that, and I was like, man, I've never seen that girl before because she's from Australia.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, I just have a gut feeling that she's going to be in a lot more movies. and she has been. She's like exploded. So, but they give you that months in advance. They're like, this is the person that's going to star in this movie. And like, if you've never seen her and like she's hot, you're like, you know, I bet a bunch of dudes are going to be searching for Margot Robbie's name. Right. And when they do, like, you can get in front of that traffic and promote like a fitness product or something. Be like, hey, do you want to have a hot body like Margot Robbie? Check out this diet and weight loss product. And
insane.
Like,
insane.
And, you know, probably going to make a lot of sales. And it's going to be, there's not that many people that are bidding on Margot Robbie's name.
Right.
But she gets a shit ton of traffic for her name. So that's a lot of traffic and low competition. So if you target a term like that, it's just like gold mine.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Wow, you got so many ideas from this guy. I thought we were just gonna talk about the ClickFunnels Dream Card. We talked about a whole lot of stuff. So Greg, thank you so much for coming on. Do you got any last words?
Yeah, check out my course.
But check out his course.
If you want a blueprint, if you don't want to focus on this, try to figure out this yourself. Because it, in theory, you could go out there and learn this stuff on your own, but it's probably going to take you years and tens of thousands of dollars. And to be completely like honest and transparent, you're probably never ever going to come across the same information that I'm sharing inside this course, just because we all have completely different lives. We run into different people and different experiences. So you're probably never, ever going to find all of the same information that I'm giving to you inside this course. So definitely check out the course if you're interested in learning this stuff, if you're just getting started, or if you already are established and you're looking to kind of lay a long-term foundation for your business. I have some people there enrolled in the course that they already have a successful business, but they're like, oh, I'm using the strategies that I'm learning inside of here to kind of future-proof my business so that it's passive and sustainable. Because a lot of people, you know, in ClickFunnels, there are a lot of successful people that do paid traffic, but even though, and so they're, you know, they tend to make a lot more money than me, but they are jealous of me because I'll Skype with them and they're like, man, you know, I am making more money than you, but your stuff is passive. My stuff is, I have to kind of like manage campaigns and or work with clients or whatever. And although they're making more money, their time is kind of tied up.
Right. You're more free than they are.
Yeah. So, and
that's amazing.
So check out the course if you, and then also just, you know, the other, you know, entrepreneurs and internet marketers have said this, but just get started. You know, you're never going to be the best in the beginning. Just get started, and be disciplined and consistent. Like, stick with it. I know we all like, you know, Netflix and going out, hang out with friends and partying and whatever, but like, be disciplined and consistent. You can still have fun, but you know, it's going to take some time and effort and commitment to be successful. Like, if you really chat and hang out with some of these other really successful marketers, you may see them on YouTube videos, you may see them on their sales videos and like, you know, driving a Lambo or something. But what you don't see is like the other 98% of the time where they're working.
Right.
You know, you see like a little snapshot of their life and you think it's all great and everything came easy. But the rest of the time, I can pretty much guarantee you they're putting in a lot of hours.
Yeah.
So there's no easy button. You know, it gets easier after you put in the work, but you gotta put in that effort at some point. Like
100%. Thank you so much, Greg. Guys, definitely. Do you have a YouTube channel, by the way, that they could check out, or no? Not a public one.
I'll give them one call to action.
Okay. Good. That's fine with me. So check out his course. There's going to be a link down below, guys. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions for future videos, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe because there's going to be more interviews like this. I want to thank Greg again for coming on my channel because it's been eye-opener. I learned a lot of things. I hope you did too. So I'll see you guys later in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.